Now, once again, good morning. Overcast here in Rappahannock County. Gonna rain once again. Gonna rain too. I'd like to talk a little bit about the right hand, which is this. So, it's been said by me a lot that the what of the guitar is the left hand, but the art of the guitar, the doing it, is the right hand. This is where it happens. This is where you make it work. This is like learning the stuff, and this is like speaking it. As Coleridge says, you fill the deep well of the imagination, left hand. Then in moments of inspiration, the poet draws on the technique he has developed to express what's in the left hand with the right hand. That's it. Right out of almost an exact reinterpretation of Coleridge's Biographia Literaria, most famous remark about poetry, artistic, glimmer, that's ever been written. Surely, an extraordinary essay on the imagination. Right hand. There's a thing that classical guitar players play called arpeggio, and arpeggio means to imitate the harp, like a harpeggio. That's where the word comes from. It's as if you're trying to be a harp. That's good, and that means that anything can be an arpeggio, or where P plays the bass notes in an E minor scale, capo 3 again, standard tuning, and the index and middle fingers, I, M, and A, play respectively on G, B, and E, the third, second, and first string. So you have, for example, or more traditionally, that is the classic 19th century style of arpeggio, which is P-I-M-A, 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 where P plays the bass and I-M-A plays respectively 3, 2, and 1. So now this really gets the hand working well, and you want to shape the finger pick slightly. You want to carve off that inner edge there a little bit, and then using various degrees of sandpaper, finally you get it down to jeweler's polishing paper, and you have a very close edge. And the edge of the pick doesn't look like the stock pick that you buy in the store. You've shaped it a lot more, and what happens is the point of tangency between the flesh there and the edge of the pick is where the sound happens, and that reduces the clatter. Okay, if you have fingernails, the nails come out over like that, and you shape the other way like that of the nail, so that you get a flesh to nail kind of attack. Okay? That's what you do. You don't want fingernails that look like long picks. You want them to be articulated so you get the flesh to modify that sound a little bit. Unless some of the really hot shot flamenco players play with what basically look like claws. And that's only allowed if you start when you're 2. So, forget it. But to try and find some way where you can create an elegant sound, and this is the goal. And arpeggio, of course, is where it's at here. Now, for the guy like me, who's basically a blues player and an American folk style player, I use these things. And one way or another, I don't stick to this or this. I find it doesn't really apply to me so much, but things like this do, which is, see that? P-I-M, P-I-M, A-I-M, A with B. Some variation, it doesn't matter. What you need to do is experiment, find something that feels comfortable after you do a little work to get your hands working, because never forget, this is athletic, okay? This is athletic. It's not like you're learning something, you're learning to be something. It's very different. once you do that a lot, your hands begin to warm up. You'll notice things are working for you in practice sessions when there's warmth. Warmth, it's motion, motion. Motion creates heat, creates the sound we need in time. And even when you're a 77-year-old goon like me, it still warms up the joints, okay? If I didn't play arpeggio and stuff like this every day, the lifespan of my guitar playing would just go right down the tube. That would be it. It wouldn't work because you have to do it to keep the joints working. And they will work. And even if you're picking this up in your 50s or your 60s, it doesn't make any difference. Even in your 70s, it doesn't make any difference. Because what you do is you do it calmly, slowly, deliberately, and evenly. And then what happens is it exercises the joints. And a lot of arthritic people will find that they're making progress, I think, against it. I've seen it. I've seen progress. I don't know about RA, but I mean just regular arthritis where your fingers hurt, joints hurt. You can ameliorate that in some way by doing this kind of exercise. It's really helpful. And the hands, you want your hands to work. Right? It's really therapy. When I injured my left hand, the therapist, after I had the thing rebuilt, my index finger, it was just awful, in a bike accident. But the therapist said, one day I took an instrument into the therapy session. I said, "This is what I do." And she said, "You found your therapy. You don't need me anymore." And of course, there were scales. And now I have practically fully recovered a completely dislocated and broken finger. So, which really was amazing. I mean, the doctors were shocked that I was able to play with any real dexterity. It's been a while now, but still, things can be done to ameliorate painful situations. And this exercise, of course, exercise is what we do. I mean, you want to look good. I don't care about that so much. Good, obviously, but if you want to play with a little bit of dignity and grace, then you exercise to do it. That's why we do it. No other reason. Now back to this right hand stuff. Now the folk guitarist or a blues guitar player will not do that. This is classical stuff. By the way, look how you can play the scale we discussed in the last tape. On the bass side, against the open first strings in E minor. Let's see what the arpeggio is. It's A. Rush River is a sort of a perfect example of this kind of picking, made kind of fancy, but nevertheless not that fancy. And what you want to do is you want to steady this thumb. It's called the independent thumb. Play it muted. And then play treble notes on either the third, second, or first string, either by itself or anything you want. Experiment. It's easy, and you'll really be happy with what happens. But what you need to do is get this to a point of forgetfulness. That's it. That's it. I mean, if there's anything that's Zen-like in the guitar, it's learning techniques that have a mind or a mindlessness of their own. They simply work. Cheers.